Our last speaker for the International Perspective session is Dr. Alex Penna, coming from São Paulo, Brazil, and giving us the Brazilian perspective on anterior approach. Alex?
Hey, thank you very much, Professor Mata, Joe. It's such an honor to be here. So before introducing anterior approach to Brazil, I would like to introduce Brazil to you. Like, Brazil is a very big country, this green one on the screen, 211 million people over there. The GDP of Brazil it's a big one, but it's similar to the Texas GDP. So you got other states here. I live in a very particular area of Brazil. I live in São Paulo, which is down here. It's $6 billion GDP, which is equivalent to Pennsylvania, but we have 5 times more people. Lots of hips over there. This is our adult hip team. So we work in 4 hospitals: low-cost insurance, middle-cost insurance, public system, and the very big one on the right here, the BP, the private one. It's the biggest hospital in one of the biggest, almost 1,000 beds. All those hospitals together, they totally approximately 2,200 beds. This is Professor Hudelli, my teacher and a friend of mine, and Joe, very nice guy. So my hip journey started with Professor Hudelli in 2008. And Professor Hudelli was trained by Sir John Shirley himself. He was a close friend to Mike Wróblewski, and he was, of course, putting lots of cement and everything. And he was the introducer of the posterior approach to Brazil. I finished my hip fellowship with him. We became friends. I started working with him, and then I saw that there was something going on in USA, like something was growing fast, so I started looking after the anterior approach. And this is my mentor, Professor Joe Mata, very handsome guy. He used to be more handsome when he was younger, like in this photograph here. This was my first contact with Joe in 2010, my first contact with the Mizuho table too, and I fell in love with the technique, not with Joe, and with Joe too. I asked him if I can do a small fellow, if I can come to visit him. He said, yes, I got a problem with that. Don't invite me because I will go. So 2012, I was back in LA, and I stayed some time with Joe, like trying hard to learn the anterior approach. In 2013, it was the first time we invite Joe Mata to Brazil. Now, as you can look to me, I have 2 new physical attributes. I'm bald and thin. I'm happy this way, thank you. From 2012 to 2016, it was my silent suffering time. I was performing AA almost secretly, without any resources, on a public hospital, and very few good retractors, and the Hana table was an impossible dream. There are lots of complex cases in Brazil. People wait more than 10 years to get a hip replacement. Our public health system is not good at all. So, long surgical time at the beginning, some femoral fractures. The surgeon, myself, I was in pain, but the patient was fine, and the x-ray, we were trying always to do our best. This is the standard case in Brazil, and this is where I used to do the total hips anterior approach. So you see, my life was not easy. But we always try to do our best, and without any special stuff, we try always to give a good x-ray, a good correction, good leg length and offset correction. Something life-changing was around 2015 to 16 when Medacta started their operation in Brazil. So I got the opportunity to go in 2016 to tours, and I remember this creme brulee very much. It was amazing creme brulee, and I was in touch with Professor Lode, and this very good cadaver lab introduced me to the AMIs and the Medacta table, which I found pretty interesting, and I started doing here. So it was the end of my suffering time, because now I got a table, I got good retractors, I got AA, dedicated implants, and instruments. And by that time, I have already completed my first training curve. So suffering, but not that much, more and more comfortable with the anatomy, with the patient positioning, and of course, we were always enjoying our x-rays. I was a posterior approach surgeon. I was always very, I always look after the best x-ray, and now I can really do this. With the Medactor implants, we were very brave, and started doing some tough cases. As you can see, I got an offset, reamer, and everything else. And then, by that time, I used to test. But after a while, I said, hey, I don't need to do this, so I don't test anymore. I learned with Joe, and I don't test anymore. And even in bad cases, we got some nice x-ray with good correction and good implant positioning. Somebody, as Joe says, somebody invented a COVID pandemic, and so 2020 and 21, very few hips. It was good because I tried to learn to play golf. So as the world come to normal, or at least more normal, I was back in Vail and trying to aprimorate the last details and try to learn some golf with Professor Mata. In 2022, we were in this our way to introduce the anterior approach in Brazil, and then we finally made a very nice course. This is Professor Rudelli. Unfortunately, he passed away 6 months after the course, and I helped him to do the last good course that he made. He made this course it used to be called the Exeter course, and now it was a advanced hip course, and Joe was part of the family. We were able to do the first live streaming cadaver lab from the pew for 200 people in the meeting room, and it was a very nice one. We have everything recorded. We play some golf again, and I have the opportunity to introduce Professor Mata and Mizuho staff, represented by that time from Greg, is a very nice guy. And they met the board of BP, my hospital, and then I finally got the budget and everything else to get my Hana table. So now is the beginning of the time of joy. So almost getting the Hana table. I got the Mata retractors, I got AHF stem, I got anterior approach, the pew set, and the Vélez hip navigator. The BP, my hospital, just told me that they can afford the Hana table, and we standardized the implants from AA. Me and Marco Aurelio, who is over there, great friend of mine, great hip surgeon in Brazil too. So surgical time really improved, and no more femur fractures, no dislocation, and we don't test it anymore. More and more comfortable with the AA, and lots of good x-rays, lots of joy after we can really do a very nice reconstruction. And I was looking after 43.23, but 41.24, it seems okay, so we don't touch it. It's kind of a superstition. 24 is okay. So the few people from Brazil, they learn very fast. They are very good. So they learn to manage the valleys, they learn to manage the table, and we were every time making better and better results with a very good surgical time. Then come the day. I was there to take this picture because it took me 12 years to get this table. So I just want to be sure that they would put it on the correct way. Things in Brazil takes time. This is me. And look, this is the Hana table. Hey, Hana. Okay, now we're doing it properly. Like we'll start doing 100% of our cases through direct anterior approach as described by Professor Mata with the Vélez hip navigator and with the Hana table. I really enjoy the technique. I'm a huge fan. Okay, 43.22, it's okay. So very, very nice exposures, very nice reconstructions. And patient are really, really happy. After 12 days, 10 days, those guys just come to your office and they cross their legs, they move it. He came driving his own car, it's pretty interesting thing. Even he will cross his leg, like, cross it, yeah. Okay. Cross your leg, come on. Okay. So as we improved our surgical time, we started doing some bilateral stuff, like 45, 50 minutes each side, so it's doable, it's reproducible technique, and with the Hana table, it's very easy to do both sides at the same time, and this is the patient just 4 hours after surgery. He's a very nice friend of mine. This is the BP hospital, and after, 21 days, he has his full recovery. He's like amazing function and very nice X-ray. With more and more good results, we started doing some worse cases, like 3 centimeters of shortening, and the Hana table, anterior approach, and the axis stem with a very good correction. Even for those, in the early beginning, I would never imagine touching a patient like this through an anterior approach. But after a learning curve and with the correct gadgets and the table, we start doing cases like this with very good results. And this is a statement interesting because the growth of AA in Brazil, similar to what has happened in US, is occurring despite continued opposition from the country's most well-known authorities on hip surgery. And if you take a close look here, there is a huge expectation in the rise of volume of total hips. So anterior approach came, in my opinion, to give you better results. So we have more than 700 cases right now, and we are always running after those better results. I believe AAA come to us and deliver what we needed. In my experience, the Hana table since December, the late December, so it's basically January from now, we have done 101 cases, 41 actors and 60 coral stamp, pinnacle, ceramic Altrix. The results are pretty good. The home discharge is 24 hours. I got 1 day sense of suture. He's sort of a very fat guy, but no infection, and he healed. And now I see the challenges for 25 onwards. We have 2 nice studies going on. No spoiler now. Very good cases documentation. And we are consolidating our AA training program, and we want to reach 100% of AA for primaries as soon as possible. We're buying now 2 new Hana tables, one for the public hospital and one for the middle cost. Yesterday I got the pre-authorization for that. We are ready to spread the technique throughout our country. And I believe that the best way to spread AA is through high quality continuous education as this course. So we are committed to that, and we are planning the first major course on AA with a cadaver lab, and with the we are very happy to welcome Joe and Jonathan and Cesare to Brazil. Thank you very much.